Hello everyone! Today I am doing my 14-week update, which is so exciting, and I can't believe that I am, well, tomorrow I'm actually going to be 15 weeks, so that's just insane. It's gone by so quickly recently, and I have mixed feelings about it because it's so exciting and just I can't wait to finally meet our baby, but at the same time I just want to cherish every little moment of pregnancy, especially because during the first trimester it was really difficult for me to appreciate it fully, as in I was very appreciative to be pregnant, but to appreciate the feelings while being pregnant, like I was just sick all the time, and there were definitely moments where I felt like, can I do this? But here I am, almost 15 weeks, and I finally got into that sweet spot that people talk about, and I'm so grateful. I'm finally in my second trimester, and oh my goodness, so much has changed. It's insane. It's insane. I mean, where to begin? Okay. In my previous video, I think I was like starting to kind of feel a little bit better, but even then I was not feeling good. I was still completely nauseous pretty much all the time. I was just throwing up less. Yeah. I did still throw up once or twice after my last video. But this last week was amazing for me. I'm so grateful to finally be at this point. Oh my gosh, I felt like it was just gonna take over my life, or like my pregnancy, but luckily that was not the case. And I really feel for every pregnant woman who experiences morning sickness, especially when it is longer than the average. Now, I would not say that morning sickness just completely went away overnight. That was not the case whatsoever. It was a very slow process with days that were kind of like relapse days almost, where I would have a great few days and then one day it would just be really rough again, and I would worry that I was just not gonna get better, and then it would get better again. Even this week I had a day where it was a pretty tough day. I was nauseous all day. But other than that, slowly, steadily, I have gotten better. And I wouldn't even say I'm completely perfect yet. I still have nausea at certain moments. Smells are still so difficult for me. I feel like I'm constantly smelling something that smells bad, and I will like search wherever we may be trying to find that smell that is just driving me crazy, and sometimes I don't even find anything. So yeah, but other than that, I've had such a great week. I really have. It's been the best week of pregnancy so far, really. Oh, it's been a great time. Yeah. Last week, I had my most recent ultrasound, and oh my goodness, our baby boy was just moving the entire time. It was the cutest thing. He was like moving his arms and his legs, and he was just moving the whole time, and the ultrasound tech was having a hard time like following him. So here are some photos, quite a few, because she was just having a good time taking pictures of him since he was moving so much. He's so precious. He has such a round head, and his belly is like looking all chunky already. He has big feet. There's literally a photo of his feet right here. And there's a photo of him sucking his thumb. We watched him open his jaw and put his thumb in his mouth. So stinking cute. I'm obsessed with him. I just love being able to see him. I have heard a lot of moms say that they only got like 3 ultrasounds their entire pregnancy, and I just find that crazy because this pregnancy I have already had, I think, 3, not even 15 weeks yet. So I feel very fortunate to have been able to see our baby so much, and I also feel very fortunate that my husband, we're married by the way now, if you guys didn't know, but I feel very fortunate that my husband has been able to go into the room with me when I get my ultrasounds. He has not been able to go to my actual appointments, but he can go in for the ultrasounds, which is the best. I feel so grateful for that. There were 2 times that I experienced something a little bit, I don't know if I would say scary, but kind of unexpected. I have been dealing with some almost fainting issues. The first time, I really don't know where it came from. It was just out of nowhere. I had eaten and I had gotten ready in the morning, and Cade and I were literally about to get up to leave to go somewhere. And when I stood up, I didn't stand up quickly or anything. It wasn't like a head rush. I stood up and was starting to collect my things. And then all of a sudden, I started to see kind of fuzzy, and it started to kind of go black. If you've ever passed out, you know what I'm talking about. And I had that feeling, and I was like, I'm about to pass out. Like, this is not a new feeling for me. I have experienced it pre-pregnancy, but it has been a long time. And I never really figured out what the issue was. It would only happen to me if I was standing for a long period of time without eating or anything. Like if I was working for a long time, I didn't eat lunch or something, then it would happen, you know. But this was just like pretty out of nowhere. And I've heard that it happens to some pregnant women. So anyway, right away, luckily Cade was standing right next to me, and he just laid me on the bed because I was standing right next to our bed, and he just laid me on the bed, and I just laid there and was watching everything kind of continue to be fuzzy. I didn't pass out because I laid down like immediately, and I just did my best, like, to just calm myself. I didn't want to freak out or anything. I just relaxed, took huge deep breaths in and out, and slowly I was perfectly back to normal. But yeah, and then I just kind of laughed afterwards. I was just like, that was weird, I almost passed out there. And I wanted to discuss it with my doctor, but that's a whole thing that I will get into. And then a few days ago it happened again, only this time it was a little bit more reasonable. I was with Cade and my grandparents at an antique shop, and it's a huge antique shop. And it was kind of dark in there, and it was kind of hot, and I was wearing my mask. And after maybe an hour of walking around there, I started to kind of get like the same feeling where I was like needing to sit down because I was starting to feel faint. So I would just kind of like sit down every so often and then continue. Only for like 5 minutes I was feeling this way, and until I was standing up and my grandmother was showing me something, and I knew I was like, oh no, like if I don't sit down right now I'm going to pass out. And I like booked it to find a seat anywhere, the closest seat to me, and Kate was just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm gonna pass out if I don't sit down. So I sat down. I finally found like a little bench. I sat down and I just, again, just took deep breaths, and yeah, that was a little more reasonable because the place was hot, it was kind of dark, I was walking around for a while, you know, antiques can be dusty, I was wearing a mask, and that makes sense. So then we left right then because obviously couldn't continue to stay there. And the second that I walked outside into the sun, into some fresh air, it was just, I was okay, and I was like, all right, I'm okay now. So yeah, those times were a little, not scary, but like, okay, maybe since it happened the second time, I might have to keep an eye on that and discuss it with my doctor, hopefully. Anyway, now that I am kind of touching on the doctor subject, so I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I absolutely want I don't want to say a natural birth because all birth is natural, but I want an unmedicated birth. And I want to treat my birth in the most natural way I possibly can. And I've always known this, and I've always been more interested in finding a midwife. But so far in my pregnancy, I have just continued to go to the same gynecologist that I've always gone to because I'm comfortable with her. And it's a great office, it really is. But I don't think it's for me any longer. There's nothing wrong with my doctor or the office I go to. However, I do feel like just another patient that kind of gets rushed in and out. And now that I'm in my second trimester, I am starting to really focus on my birth plan. And my doctor has not once mentioned it at all. And I just personally think it's best for me to find a midwife for me. So I will be discussing how that all goes in future videos, and I will probably make a full video once I have found the right midwife for me. Anyway, yeah. So this week, I'm like, it's very random, but you know, just gotta put it all out there. This week, the baby is the size of a hamster or a pear or mooncakes. I've never heard of mooncakes, but yeah. I have finally gained an appetite. At my last appointment, I had lost weight because of being sick, which is very common. It happens to a lot of pregnant women who experience morning sickness. Only issue with me, I guess, is that I already struggle with putting on weight. I cannot lose any more weight. Luckily, I am not sick anymore, but it was getting pretty low there, my weight. So luckily I am starting to have an appetite, and that makes me so happy. To finally be able to eat and nourish my body and my baby just makes me feel so good. I am very excited for the day that I see that I have put on weight. I have had like some weird moments where I have eaten like a full meal and then still feel like my stomach is empty, like I haven't eaten in days, and I don't know if that means I should just continue eating or what. It's really strange. It's almost like a nauseating feeling, but it's only happened a couple times, so I'm hoping it doesn't happen too often. Another thing is I seriously have to pee between 3 to like 5 times a night. Yeah. No, it's not terrible. I can't complain. It's not like the worst thing, but I have to pee all the time. Even if I just went, there's times where I'll come back and I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to pee so bad or I'm going to pee myself. And I don't know how that's even possible, but pregnancy. So I've been told so many different things about when I will start feeling my baby kick or when it's possible. And some people have said, like some moms have said, oh, I felt my baby kick at like 11 weeks. And then there are like doctors and stuff that say, oh, you can't feel your baby until you're 20 weeks or 16 weeks, you know, like somewhere between that area. Well, I have to say, I 100% believe and know that I have felt my baby at this point. In the beginning, I think maybe starting at like 13 weeks is when starting like last week, I have felt him. I'm almost done. Okay. And I thought it was just, well, no. I know my body so well. I know when I'm having indigestion or gas or anything. And I know what I felt little flutters. Only they weren't quite I wouldn't even describe them as flutters for myself. It's almost like waves. That's the best way for me to describe it. It's like little waves. And yesterday I felt him harder than ever, and I was swimming for like an hour, and he kicked so much and so hard compared to his like normal little flutters. I mean, it still wasn't enough for like anyone else to notice, but oh my goodness, it was like shocking for me. It was the cutest thing ever. So yeah, I can't wait for him to kick to the point where my husband can feel it's gonna be the best. So I'm gonna show you my bump, which has gotten quite big in the last few days, I feel like. I don't know, I feel like it grows every day, but at the same time, since I see myself every day, I'm like, maybe I'm not growing that much, but I definitely am. So I'll show. Look at that. This is my, well, tomorrow will be 15 weeks, so almost 15-week belly. It's insane. I think that's everything for today.